Just wanted to come real quick and share something with you guys. So while doing my devotion this morning, something dropped in my spirit. And it had me thinking, a lot of us, when it comes to the holidays, we're now in the Easter season. And a lot of us, when it comes to holidays, the only thing we can think of is, where's the next party? When is the next get together? Where can I go? Where can I go to celebrate? But we're not celebrating in the way that we really should celebrate. We're not thinking about what is the reason for the holiday. What is the reason for the season? We're not thinking about any of that. We think about all the things that we shouldn't be thinking about. While I was doing my devotion this morning, I was praying and I was asking God a few questions before. I've been praying about something for a while, but I was praying and asking God a few questions this morning, and then it just dropped in my spirit. It's Easter, and we have modern day Judases. And in this season, we're also reminded to pray for our Judases. We are reminded to pray for our Judases, because some of them has mastered the art of being Judas. Some people in our lives have mastered the art of being Judas. When you are a child of God, you have to pray for discernment. You have to pray for knowledge. You have to pray for wisdom. You have to pray for understanding. You have to try to see things for what they are. Sometimes things happen and we, instead of trying to get the wisdom, trying to get the knowledge, trying to get the understanding, we are guilty of operating as if we are off the world. Because we are in the world, but we shouldn't be comfortable enough to act as if we are off this world. Hope that makes sense. I was praying about something, and a few nights ago, I said, God, why does this thing keep happening? And it's happening in the same environment, put it that way. I'm like, why does this keep happening? I saw the lesson, I received the lesson, or I thought I did, but why does this keep happening? What's going on? And while I was laying there, just laying there, I don't know if it was God or if it was just a memory or if it was just, what it was, but I'm gonna say it was God. But I kept hearing, you've gotten the lesson, you know what the lesson is, you have taught this to someone else, but you didn't learn anything. And I had to think about it for a second. I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn anything. And then I was just laying there and I prayed. And every time I go to God, this is what I do. Every time I go to God, I don't know about anybody else, I ask for the noise in my mind to be silenced. And I ask for my heart to be open to whatever it is that God is about to tell me, whether it's something I want to hear or don't want to hear, but open my heart to receive it. And silence the noise that is in my mind so I can hear it. I can hear what he's trying to say. And for a couple of days I was thinking about it, and I'm like, all right, you know you're disobedient because you're very disobedient. And I can own that. I am disobedient. Because the answer was already given to me almost a year ago. And God said, I told you what to do for this to stop. I told you how to go about making this happen. But in your mind, it's not going to work, so you haven't done it. You keep telling yourself, people are not going to be open to what I asked you to do. You keep telling yourself, it is not going to work, so you haven't acted upon what I told you to do. And even when that hit me, I'm still sitting here like, I don't know if I want to do that. Very disobedient. I can tell you that time and time again, my eyes have been open to it, and I know, very disobedient. And I kind of sit and I'm like, is it pride? And I don't want to think it's pride. I don't know. I don't know. But as Christians, we tend to not hold people accountable. We tend to, and I am guilty of that too, we tend to hear something and we just have it in our brain that that's how it is. And we don't go to the party or parties involved and say, hey, this is what's going on. Why is this going on? Why is this happening? We don't try to get to the bottom of anything. But instead, we would rather in silence or in our little closet talk about it instead of trying to hold people accountable. Because you know what? If you heard that Johnny stole something, and you're going to Elizabeth and everyone else and saying, hey, Johnny did this, and y'all talk about what Johnny did, but nobody actually goes to Johnny and say, hey, Johnny, we know you did this. Why did you do this? Johnny's gonna feel like, okay, I got away with it, and I'm gonna continue doing it. If it makes sense. But if we let Johnny know that, hey, Johnny, I know this is happening, Johnny will hopefully look into himself and be like, hey, I can't do this anymore. I have to stop doing this because now they're on to me. Now I have to ask for forgiveness. Now I have to stop. We have a lot of modern day Judases walking this earth. God knew what Judas was going to do. Jesus knew what Judas was going to do. But for our sakes, he let it happen. He let it happen. But I strongly believe that he made it happen so that in this modern day, we can stop it. Some people, just like Judas, I believe when it came on to Jesus's case, it was jealousy. Judas knew what he was capable of doing, and Judas was jealous. Some people, no matter how good you do, they will not celebrate you because it is you. No matter how well you are doing, no matter what good you do, you will not be celebrated because it is you. I would like to think that I am the type of person, I don't let other people's experiences be my experience. I want to experience things for myself. I try to experience things and I try to experience other people for myself. I was going to go deeper with this, but something is saying don't. So I'm going to hold back a little bit. But saying all this to say, we need to focus on the season and who we should be actually celebrating in this season. Not just look at it as a joyride and it's a day where we don't have to work, or it's a day where we can party, but actually reflect on why we are in the season that we're in. And render unto Caesar what is due to Caesar. Give God the praise if God deserves the praise, and he always deserves the praise. No matter what the holiday is, even if it's Martin Luther King, God still deserves the praise. Doesn't matter what it is. But we're putting our focus on the wrong things. We're putting our focus on the wrong things, and sometimes we know we are putting our focus on the wrong things, but we still do it. And since it's Easter, sometimes we know who the Judases are in our lives, but we need to pray for them. We need to pray for them. And as for myself here, I need to pray and ask God how to go about executing what he told me to do, so I don't continually sit here and think it's not going to work. So I don't sit and think it's not going to work. Pray for your Judases. Celebrate Jesus in this season. Sit and think about why he died for our sins. Because listen, he didn't have to die. He didn't have to die. God of God, Jesus didn't have to die. But let's sit and think about why he died. See you in the next one.